let's update you on my life and do some nails. My nail inspiration is, I've got my laptop here with Pinterest on there, that's why I'm looking down here, but I'm kind of thinking a little bit dark, a little bit maybe like black with like chrome on top, something like that, maybe a little bit of tortoise shell type looks, and I'll put some of my ideas up on the screen there. But well, I'm thinking about that. Let's see here. Well, today is Sunday and we were supposed to go to church today at 10:30. We did not end up getting to go because we had a really late night last night, and everything with the newborn is a little bit harder, especially when you can't get the sleep that you need. So unfortunately, I did not get to go to church today, but these are my nails right now. There's a bunch of cracks in them, like see that one right there, and just a bunch of other stuff. They're super long right now, which is kind of nice, but a little bit annoying at the same time. They just keep breaking. I really need to trim them all down to be the same length, so that's what we're gonna try to do here. See if we can do that. I've got a huge like basket full of stuff that I have to go through, and it's not organized at all, of course. So we'll see if I can find any nail clippers in here. Lovely. If you can't tell, we had our baby, and I'm actually in his nursery right now, not in our bedroom, which is over there. And Ember will probably be coming in and out. And Tyson is currently sleeping on his dad's shoulder while they play video games, so that's really cute. But we had Tyson, and he has just been like amazing. Like honestly, such a really an easy baby, all things considered. Maybe not as easy for Tyler, but he's great. Tyler really is such a wonderful dad, and he's been doing so good at like supporting me and everything that I need, and just like really being there for me. I recently went out to Virginia to go attend my grandpa's funeral. I guess more on that later. Yesterday, we went to our first ever Savannah Bananas game in Denver. It was so fun. Oh my gosh. We just had such a blast. I personally don't love baseball games because they're so long, and they have a really bad habit of like, unless like somebody gets like a home run, they're really not that interesting most of the time. So they tend to be on the boring side, and it just feels like everybody's just always waiting around for something to happen, which is not always the funnest thing in the world, to just wait for something to happen. At least in like other sports like football, like you have like really exciting like moments to like watch for, even though they're only 30 seconds at a time. Those 30 seconds are very exciting. So it's a lot easier to watch that, I think, than watch baseball. I'm not a hater per se. I just think that it's not the most exciting sport to watch. So in saying that, watching the Savannah Bananas was so fun because it's entertainment. I mean, I'm sure most people have heard of the Savannah Bananas at this point, but it's entertainment mixed with baseball, right? And everything was just so fast paced. It felt like I'd be looking at somebody doing something, and then another second, you know, somebody gets a home run, and there's just so much happening. There's so much good music going on, and the crowd is involved the whole time. The fans and the crowd are what really make the game at the end of the day. And I bet for those players, it's just a blast to be able to like do something like that and just really enjoy yourself all the time, right? And it's less about the competitiveness, and it's more about just everybody getting along and everybody having a really good time, no matter how the game goes. We're pretty much Savannah Banana fans for life and lovers of the game, the great game Banana Ball. Anyways, it was me and Tyson who got to go out to my grandpa's funeral a few weeks ago, and it was such a bittersweet thing. It was the first time I had seen a lot of my aunts and uncles on that side of the family. It was my dad's side of the family for like years now. Like it had been a while since I had seen them, and it was the first time, you know, they got to meet my baby, which was crazy. So it was filled with so many bittersweet moments where I'm so happy to see all of them and to have them experience, you know, meeting my baby at such a young age. But at the same time, you know, we're not there for the happiest of reasons, which is my grandpa passing. Tyler and I were lucky enough to be able to go out to the East Coast, which is where my grandpa was before he passed away. They were living out there. So we got to go visit him before he passed away. I mean, we talked about like the Civil War, and we talked about just like random things. We talked about me, because I was pregnant at the time. I was like 36 weeks pregnant, which was crazy because like the next week or so I ended up going into labor, which more on that because Tyson was born 3 weeks early. So that was pretty crazy. But anyways, we went out there and my grandpa was in the hospital. He had been dealing with lots of health issues for a really long time. Basically what happened was they decided, or my grandpa decided, that he didn't want to die in a hospital surrounded by doctors with only 1 or 2 family members there. He wanted to die in his home, and he wanted to be peaceful and be at peace and have my grandma surrounded by her children when he passed. And that's the way that he went, you know, he died the way that he wanted to. He was such a wonderful guy. He had 7 kids. My dad was the oldest, and then he had 1 brother and 5 younger sisters. It was really cool to see my grandma and for her to meet my son. And it really gives you like a whole lot of perspective when you have your own child to love and to protect and to feel those feelings for. And I think about, you know, holding my son. I'm like, wow, this is what my grandma feels. And when she looks at her son, my dad. Wow, I really trimmed off a little bit more than I was expecting, but you know, that's okay. I used to be really intense about the length of my nails. I wanted them super long all the time, and if I ever broke a nail, I would like break down crying. You know, anxiety things. But now I am at a place where I can trim off too much and not really care. It just goes to show all the things in life that just change as you go along. About Tyson, so he came when I was 37 weeks pregnant. I go in on a Friday to my doctor's office. I go to the women's clinic here in town. I go in to see my doctor just to get a checkup, you know, regular checkup. Everything was fine. I felt fine. Like I didn't feel like there was anything different about me, but I went in, they do all the regular vital stuff, and they tell me my blood pressure's high. It was weird because I hadn't been hypertensive like my whole pregnancy. I didn't have any diabetes. I'd been really healthy like the whole time. So it just really came out of nowhere to just be like, oh, your blood pressure is really high. It was what, 141 over like 100 or something. So pretty high. Pretty high. And so they were like, we're gonna send you to the hospital, because I was just at the clinic, right? Oh, hi, Amber. Which was annoying because just a few days earlier, I had been getting really, really bad pelvic pains, so much that they decided to send me to the hospital on Wednesday, just before that Friday. So I had only been, you know, out of the hospital for a few days at that point. Anyways, I told Tyler, he's at work, so I called him. I said, they're sending me to the hospital again for high blood pressure, but I'm pretty sure it'll be nothing, just like my pelvic pains were the few days prior. But he was like, okay, well, let's prep because we had nothing prepared for the hospital, I should say. I had bought some pajamas to take with me to the hospital, and that was like all I had prepared for that. But we went home, we packed our hospital bag really quick. We had my mother-in-law come with us. We went to the hospital, and we get there, and my blood pressure is totally normal, which was just great. We're like, perfect. So we're there for a few hours, and we really should have stopped and eaten something, because that was my biggest regret about this whole thing, was I was so hungry. But I hadn't eaten any lunch or anything. I was just eating some snacks. They checked my blood pressure like every 30 minutes over like a couple of hours, and they were like, it's looking normal, so we'll probably send you home, but if for whatever reason it like spikes back up again, we'll have you come back in. And so they were like, we're gonna take your blood pressure a couple more times, and if it looks normal, we're gonna send you home. So they checked my blood pressure, and on the second to last check, my blood pressure spiked again, and it went all the way back up. And so they're like, okay, well, it's time to have this baby, which was so crazy to me. I thought I had at least 3 more weeks. I was under the impression for some reason that he was going to come late. In my head, I was like, I have at least like 41 weeks, which I don't know why I thought that. There was no reason for me to think that. They're like, we need to have this baby. So I was in this like triage room, and then they, in another hour or so, they transferred me over to a labor and delivery room, which was honestly very nice. A little bit confusing because we had been told some bad things about this hospital, about giving birth in this hospital, but I gotta say, it was lovely. Everybody there was wonderful. The whole experience was great. Tyler and I both had like a decently good time while we were there, which was, I don't know, very surprising to me, because I just heard so many terrible things about it. They're like, oh, don't go give birth to this hospital, it's gonna be terrible. Remember? You're being a little loud. What's going on? They take us to this Tyler put my baby in his crib, so I might be taking a break. Anyways, they take us into this labor and delivery room, and surprisingly very nice. And they start trying to induce me. They both did this vaginal pill that's supposed to help dilate me, because I was only at like a 1. Tyson's trying to talk, and Ember's chewing on her bone, so we've got a lot going on in here. Everybody's trying to hang out. We'll see if he stays asleep. He might not. He might not. We might have to take a pause on this, but anyways. And then they tried to do the balloon thing to also help open up my cervix. So So that's good. Eventually, you know, it takes him a while before I'm in active labor. I get the epidural, which was heavenly, honestly. Honestly, I was nervous about it, but it really wasn't that bad. I was in labor overnight, so all Friday night. And then he finally was born at like 5 in the morning on Saturday. So June 21st is when he came. And I only really had to like push for like an hour, which the doctor said was really amazing for a first time mom, which was really nice to hear. I was like, oh, thank you. It's like, wow, you really just said that. That's so nice. All of the doctors and all the nurses, like I said, were just the sweetest in the whole world and just amazing. So great for both me and Tyson. We did end up having to stay in the hospital for like 4 more days, which was terrible, just to not be able to go home. Like, it wasn't a terrible experience, but I just wanted to go home so bad after having him. I was like, I just want to go home and sleep in my own bed and just be with my own baby and not have people coming in every 5 minutes and bothering us, which is understandable. They had us stay for so long because Tyson had jaundice when he was born, and his birth weight, his weight was a little bit down after his first poop, which is normal for babies, especially newborns, to lose so much weight after they're born, but he wasn't gaining it fast enough, so they wanted to monitor his weight gaining and make sure that he didn't have jaundice. So that's why we ended up staying for so long, which is fine. But after the last day we were there, the doctor came in and was like, okay, I'll go tell everybody, or the nurse came in and she was like, okay, I'll go get the doctor to sign off on you. Oh geez, I'm coughing. And within the next like 10 minutes, we had all of our stuff like packed up and ready to get out of there. We were so anxious. We were like, okay, let's go. We're like, we need to get out of here. We're gonna die. I think I'm gonna pause right here. I really just prepped my nails. Somebody's just being very noisy. It's so crazy how he looks so little in his crib, but I know that like in like 6 months he's gonna be huge. At his last doctor's appointment, which was last week, the week before. Are you trying to talk? Yeah. They said he was like 12.5 pounds. No, 11.5 pounds. So he's gotten a lot chunkier from his first birth weight, which was 7 pounds 4 ounces. So he's grown a lot, which is nice. And he's sneezing. He's so cute. I love that little guy. He's so cute. Anyways, I will show you the finished product because I'm gonna go see what's up with my baby. So I had to take a pause so I could go feed my baby, and I ended up doing the rest of my nails off camera just because it was easier that way. And I'm really bad at talking while I do other stuff, if you couldn't tell by the first part of this video. But I wanted to show you the finished product, so this is what we're looking at. They're kind of like tortoiseshell-esque with black and just like sparkles. And they kind of match my glasses, if you can't tell. That's what I was going for, so I really like them. They're not my best work, and I'm still trying to figure out like the tortoise shell look. So I'll definitely have to work on these again, because from far away they look like little ants, which wasn't what I was going for, but I still really like them, and I guess that's all that really matters. But I gotta clean up all my stuff here. I gotta get ready to go to dinner because I'm still in my pajamas. and it's about 5 o'clock. Gotta love that. But I also wanted to show you my cute new water bottle that I got from Shields yesterday on our way to the game. I'm not in the habit of buying lots of water bottles. I'm not a water tech girly. Don't worry about it. I have a 42-ounce Owala water bottle that looks like this with the handle and everything that I've been using for about a year now. It's a little banged up. But my big problem with the Owala water bottle is that it just has like a straw that sticks straight up all the time with no like cap on it or anything. When I knock it over, which is often, and it's full of water, then it gets water everywhere because there's no way to close the water off. But this, I can flip the straw up and down like so. It just makes life so much easier knowing that if I have it down, which I should, then I'm not gonna spill it everywhere. So I really like that, and I really like the roses on there. I'm a big fan of flowers and anything feminine looking, so I'm a big fan of this guy. Thanks for listening to the update. Thanks for checking in. We will see you later. This is my whole setup. I put a lot of stuff away and I couldn't find my tripod, so I just propped up my phone right there. It's somewhere in the midst of all this stuff, but I've got all my nail stuff in this little bag right here with a couple different layers, and just listen to music. The new Superman soundtrack is perfect. I just use this this nail file case to mix all my nail polish together.